Have you ever had those feelings where sometimes you talk to someone on the phone and before you talk to them, you feel great, you feel amazing, but then after you talk to them, you just feel so drained afterwards? Have you ever had that moment where you think about someone and then within that next minute they call you or text you? Then guess what? You've had empathic moments. Is that even a real word? Empathic? It is. You've had empathic moments. So really the root word or empathic, right? The root word of that is empath, right? Now sometimes it's like, well, what's empath? Those are those things in science fiction novels where like people are like, I feel the pain of this person. Well, in some way that is one way. That is one way of tapping into the empathic skills, but let's talk about empathy. Because essentially, empathy is really... Okay, something fell. It's fine. We're all good. It's what happens when you're recording and you don't do any editing. Things happen, and it's okay. We keep moving on. But empathy is essentially the ability to understand someone's feelings and what they're going through. That's what the word empathy means. So empath kind of really goes much deeper than that. It's like you can not just understand, but you literally feel what the other person is going through. Now, there's different levels when it comes to being an empath. We think about empath as like, oh, it's this like kind of woo-woo thing that's out there. But science has actually been able to really hone in on some of these things that we thought back in the days were woo-woo and like out there. Science is actually showing that, I mean, these things exist. There's instruments that can actually measure some of this stuff. So just very simple, very simple, short lesson in this. The things that we might have been called years ago an aura, right? That sort of invisible field around the body. Science is actually now calling that the biofield because there's actually instruments that can now measure the biofield. And actually each organ has its own sort of electromagnetic field around it that, again, science can use instruments to measure. The strongest organ in the body with the strongest electromagnetic field or biofield is actually the heart. The heart radiates a diameter of 8 feet around it. The science thinks it's just 8 feet. They think it's more, but they're saying it's 8 feet because that's really just how far the instruments can only read it. But they think it goes further than 8 feet in diameter. So with that said, it means that the heart is actually sending signals to the brain more often than the brain is sending down to the heart. You want to read more about the science on this? Go to heartmath.org. So essentially, right, we have this biofield. This biofield is that thing that lets us feel other people's stuff, literally. But there's different levels to being an empath. And then I'm going to get to, after this, I'm going to get to techniques you can use to sort of help you feel better so that you're not taking on people's stuff, so that you can really disconnect from people. So there's different levels to this empath thing. So there's one level where people are like, I felt fine, then all of a sudden I just felt angry or I just felt sad. That's one level of the empath. That means you have an emotional empathic skill where you can feel other people's emotions. Where it's like you're feeling great, then all of a sudden, why do I feel sad? Why do I feel depressed? It's because you can emotionally feel what other people are feeling. Then there's another kind of empath where, again, you might be feeling great. You might sit down somewhere in public. Then all of a sudden it's like, why does my back hurt? Why does my arm hurt? That's probably because the person that was sitting there before you maybe had some back or arm pain. So those are the empaths that can feel things on a physical level. So sort of physical empathic. You can feel other people's pain, literal physical pain. Then there's a kind of empaths that I think, you know, more people might be more in tune to now. I think definitely on the emotional level, feeling other people's emotions, but also on this level, the mental level, where it's like, mind is clear, you know, mind is sharp, and all of a sudden you might feel like, why do I feel things are cloudy and murky? Or you know, you try to go to sleep. You feel sleepy, you feel tired. All of a sudden, you get to bed and it's like your mind's racing with all these thoughts. Odds are you may not be picking up stuff that's yours. It might be especially be true if you live in an apartment setting. But there's a whole bunch of people living in one building. Sometimes you think, oh my God, my mind is racing, my mind is racing. It may not be your mind. It might be the mind of someone else that's in the apartment next to you, around you, that you're picking up on their mental stuff. So then, again, there's those sort of mental empaths, right? So there are those levels, and then sometimes there are things that combine and overlap, because there's some people that can feel all three, or feel one or two at a time, you know, or just feel one. But we all have these empathic moments, which connects deeply to our biofield, our aura, our electromagnetic field. So, for all the empaths out there, I know I myself am an empath on different levels, and I have been for many years. And there's moments where I was like, why do I feel like I'm going crazy? And I was like, it's not because I'm going crazy. It's because I'm picking up on other people's stuff. So I've learned tools over the years to sort of help me sort of, keep myself protected, and to also disconnect from other people's stuff, which has really helped me stay grounded and centered, especially during this time, because we are swimming right now in fear and anxiety and pain. And because of that, you might be picking up on other people's fear, anxiety, and pain, when it really may not be yours. So I'm going to teach you many different techniques, maybe like 4 in this particular video. If something resonates with you, great, take it with you. If not, leave it on the wayside and be like, pshaw, whatever, right? So the first technique is simply just an ask. So you feel something, you think about something, and you ask yourself, is this mine? If it's not yours, what will usually happen is that when you ask yourself that question, is this mine, whatever it is will usually automatically disconnect from you. And you'll start to feel a sense of like, okay, I'm starting to feel better just by asking that question. So first ask, is this mine? You feel a disconnect from it, then you know it's not yours, right? But then you have to do something about it, right? So the next step would then be to ask yourself, if this thing that's not mine had a color, what color would it be? Right? So I might say maybe it's red. First impression, that's all that matters. Red. Then you ask, okay, what do I need to feel more of myself? Or what do I need to get rid of this feeling? You know, what color would that be? Maybe it's blue for you. Maybe it's purple. Maybe it's green. Whatever color it is, first impression that comes to mind. And then just imagine that color going through your entire body many, many times. Okay? So that's the first one. The first one is ask and color. This is what we'll call it. Ask and color. Okay? Ask, is this mine? You feel the disconnect. It's like, okay, what color would this be? And what color do I need to get rid of it? And imagine that color running through your entire body. That's the first one. The second one, if you have essential oils, those are great to use. My favorite one to use is lavender essential oil. Lavender has many amazing benefits on the physical level, emotional, mental, spiritual. It's amazing. So lavender is really good when it comes to like protecting. So usually, actually not usually, every day before I leave the house, I'll always put some lavender oil on the back of my neck. I know somebody might be like, oh, Kadeem, you always smell so good. That's because I'll put lavender oil on the back of my neck before I go out to protect myself, but also on the heart center, again, because the heart center is the strongest electromagnetic field. Put it there to protect myself from that. But also the back end of the neck has a lot of amazing, wonderful, energetic things that go on. And I don't want to get into that in this video, but I think there's a video somewhere I made a few months ago about an energy center called the Alta Major Energy Center. which is at the back of the neck, which has amazing, amazing benefits. If you're able to tap into that, it's really great. So again, back of the neck, lavender, heart center, lavender essential oil. Simple. That's number 2. All right. The third one is simply a visualization, I will say. All right. So again, not to go too deep into this, but there are also these things called cords that connect us to other people. So you can simply just imagine your knife. Imagine your hand almost like a knife. And almost like you're, imagine cutting the cords between you and other people, right? You can literally just say, cut, 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 and go down your entire body, cut, 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 right? You can also imagine your hand as electric violet light, almost like the color of lightning, almost like the color of this picture, kind of back here, that kind of violet-ish color back there, right? Almost like electric violet, almost like the color of lightning. And just imagine that just cutting, cut, cut, even use sound effects, shh, shh, right? And go, cut, cut. That's another way to help. And then once you do that, you might feel stuff on your hands. And then usually, you put some, what do you call this? Hand sanitizer on it, which is great. If you have essential oils, you can put some essential oils on it, which is great. Or if it's like you don't have any of that, just a big clap, like a seal, right? Just clap, right? It helps to sort of get rid of stuff, disintegrate stuff. So that's the third one. So the first one is ask and color. Is this mine? Imagine the colors. Second one is what? Lavender oil or essential oil. I would suggest lavender. Third one, saying the cut knife technique, the cutting knife. The fourth one, the last one I'll teach you, and then there's more I can teach, but I don't want to overload your system. I want you to try some of these out. And a special thanks to my friend that I call Nuna, because she inspired this video after I had a session with her on some empath stuff to sort of help her out. So the last one is a shielding. I'm gonna call it a shielding. So if you go into a situation where it might be stressful, it might be difficult, or you're talking to someone, you're starting to feel your energy starting to be drained, this person, they can be annoying, whatever. Shielding technique is to simply imagine a brick wall around you, just around your entire circumference, right? Around your entire body. Imagine a brick wall between you and this person, or you and these people. And that, within itself, will help. I remember I did this once. I've done it every so often, but there was one time I had to do it specifically for this one particular person. Driving me mad. It was back in 2017, I think. Maybe it's 18. It was 18. Drove me mad. I imagined this brick wall around me, and it was almost like the person was talking. They were talking consistently, but it sounded like they were talking in another language. Like foreign, and I couldn't really understand them. And I wasn't even like they were talking, right? It was obviously English, but I didn't understand anything they were saying. Because my brick wall was so strong. So that one's great. My Nuna, I don't want to give her name out because I didn't tell her I'm going to make this video. But I call her Nuna. Nuna, one she suggested regarding this particular shielding technique is she said, oh, I'm going to imagine angels around me. Whatever works for you when it comes to shielding. Because you want to make sure that, you do something that resonates with you, right? So brick wall, angels, you want to imagine saints around you. You want to imagine your ancestors around you. You want to imagine yourself around a plexiglass shield. You want to imagine yourself in gold light around you. Whatever works for you, but just know that the intention is to shield yourself from this person or people, right? But imagine something that you feel is protective and imagine it around you. So that's it. It's been a very long video, but I felt the need to share as an empath. I felt the need to share because I know people, need this during this time. They need a way to feel grounded, feel centered, and protect themselves from other people's stuff, so they can come back to themselves. So try these techniques out. Let me know what you think. Write down in the comments. Let me know what you think if you try it out. And if it works for you, let me know if it works. Or which ones you feel work best for you. And I would say this also just came to mind. When you're sleeping, you feel like, I'm sleeping, I'm trying to sleep, but I really can't sleep. When you're having some issues with insomnia, you may want to try these before you go to bed. Cutting, disconnecting cords, lavender, essential oil, even putting lavender on the soles of your feet, which is really great. Or you even may just want to imagine yourself surrounded in a brick wall, or angels, or saints, whatever. Because, again, sometimes the stuff that you're feeling, your mind racing, may not be yours. It might be someone else that lives in your household, or that's in the apartment next to you, or the house next to you. Again, if this stuff really extends, right, 8 feet and beyond. So something to think about, something to try, something to play with. So hope you all are well. Take care of yourselves. Be well. Namaste. My soul and spirit. Why am I going to say this? I don't know. My soul and my spirit and my male pattern baldness. Namaste and salute to you. Thank you so much for watching, as always. I'm glad I can help inspire during this time. Have a good day. Bye-bye.